Shalom, welcome back to Genesis of Relationships, where we power you up to bring peace and passion into your life, into your relationships. These lessons that are learned can really be used everywhere in your life. Make sure to do chazara, we call chazara, which means to go over them again. Go look at other videos that you've already seen, to pound them in to your mind, your body, and your soul to make sure that they become part of your life. Because this word is so alive, ladies and gentlemen. It's so alive. It's so relevant to our lives. So relevant to our lives. Don't just leave it in the books. All right, we are fast forwarding to Noah. Now, I'm not going to talk about the flood and the world being in big trouble and God's destruction, all of that. I'm actually fast forwarding to after the flood. The only thing that I want to say about before that is this. There's 10 generations between Adam and Noah. We hear nothing proactive about a wife from Adam, from the end of talking about Adam and Eve, all the way to Abraham. You're going to see now, God mentions everybody who's given birth to, and all of the this begot that and that begot that, right? And even Noah and his sons bring their wives into the ark, but they don't do anything. We don't hear about any action. I'm saying this because it's going to be very relevant to a video later on when we speak about Abraham and Sarah and the changes that they made in the world about relationships and about marriage and how we relate to our wives and the function they have in a man's life. We're fast forwarding to chapter 9 of Genesis, verse number 22. Noah gets out of the ark with everyone and decides to celebrate. He plants a vineyard, gets drunk, and is naked. His son Ham sees his nakedness and goes to tell his two brothers that are standing outside. His two brothers come and bring a garment and cover their father's nakedness. In fact, we learn that they actually even walked backwards so that they did not see their father's nakedness. I've seen through almost 20 years of educating, through my counseling sessions with families, that sexuality is probably the most difficult subject that for a family to balance. The open education, if there is any, and modesty, especially when we're trying to and desperately coming in line with what we believe God wants from us. We have to understand what is the balance between nakedness, recognizing and teaching our children and ourselves what that nakedness is used for, how it can have a godly function, but at the same time, making sure everything is age appropriate and full of modesty. I know that in many, many religious families, things about sex, things about nudity are just banned. They're seen as bad. They're seen as evil. And then when you come to marry your husband or your wife, all of a sudden, when you've been told that your body nakedness is an evil thing, it's something that pulls you away from God, when you've been told that for that many years, and then all of a sudden you need to make love to your spouse, wow, what difficulties people have at that time. It's like jumping, pardon me, it's like jumping off a cliff. If I'm told that this is evil or this is negative or this is bringing me away from God, and then all of a sudden I'm going to have children with this person. So what's nakedness? What is the balance that we have in our home around nakedness but remaining modest? Now, I'm not going to tell you what the answer is, because the truth is, it's up to each family to decide what the boundaries are. But what I'm going to strongly suggest and beg you to do is to sit down, husband and wife, if you are married, and if not, plan to do this and understand for now what your way of dealing with this is. And maybe the difficulties or holes that you may have created or been given from your family when you grew up. Sit down with your spouse. Discuss, how are we going to talk about sexuality with our children? I was on a call with some, they've been married for years. They have lots of children, and their son was turning 13 years old, and they asked me to please help them with the talk. Now we need to do the talk to our son because he's coming of the age of puberty. And I said, now you want to talk to him about his body? Now you want to talk to him about his sister's bodies? Now you want to talk to him about the urges that he's going to have or he's already having? I'm not going to say it's too late. It's never too late. But a child's sexual awareness begins the moment they're born. So don't run away from nakedness. Embrace it as a godly gift. But make sure to remain modest. Educate your children in using age-appropriate material in order that they understand what nakedness is, what sexuality is, and they're not thrown off a cliff on their wedding night.